So let's say we have 1/3 times 2/4. So this is a set of fractions. By now you should know that really all you care about is multiplying the top and multiplying the bottom. You do not care about any kind of common denominator when you're multiplying fractions. So you have 1 times 2, and on the bottom you have 3 times 4. 1 times 2 gives you 2, 3 times 4 gives you 12. So that's the answer, but we always check and see, can we simplify this? And we can, because we know both of these are even. We can divide the top by 2 and the bottom by 2. 2 divided by 2 will be 1. 12 divided by 2 will be 6. And so the answer for this problem is 1/6. 1/6 is exactly the same thing as 2/12, so both of them are correct, but you always want to try to get it simplified. So that's what you're always going to try to do. All right, so the next problem, what if we have 2/6 times 1/5? I'm going to multiply these guys. All right, so what we do, we multiply the tops, multiply the bottoms. 2 times 1 on the top, 6 times 5 on the bottom. 2 times 1 gives me 2, 6 times 5 gives me 30. So that's basically the answer, but I want to try to simplify it. Both of these are even numbers, so I divide by 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 30 divided by 2, if you think about it, is actually 15. Because 15 times 2 is actually 30. And so the answer is 1/15. So in all of these problems, we are going to end up needing to simplify the results. What if we have 1/4 times 4/5? And again, we try to multiply the tops and multiply the bottoms. And so 1 times 4 on the top, 4 times 5 on the bottom. So 1 times 4 gives us 4, 4 times 5 gives us 20, and that's basically the answer. And so, but on the top, we know we can divide by 4, and we can also divide the bottom by 4, because we know 4 times 5 is 20. And so on the top, we'll get 1. On the bottom, we'll get 5 when we do that division. Again, we'll get 1/5. All right, so cruising right along, just getting a little of extra practice. What if we have the fraction 6/7 times 1/6? Now, all up until now, I've been writing it down, multiplying in the top, multiplying in the bottom. I've been writing it out and then doing the calculation. By now, you should know that all you have to do is take 6 times 1, and the top will give you 6. 7 times 6 will give you 42 in the bottom. So I'm not going to write this step every time. You know that you just multiply the tops and multiply the bottoms. So 642, that's the answer. We know that we can simplify this because we can divide the top by 6 and the bottom by 6. 6 divided by 6 is 1. 42 divided by 6 is 7. And that's the final answer for that problem. All right, let's cruise along over to the other board here and do just 3 more, just to get a little extra practice. What if you have 2/3 times 5/6? So again, multiply tops, multiply bottoms. 2 times 5 is 10. 3 times 6 is 18. So the answer is 10/18, but we always try to simplify. We know these are both even numbers, so we divide by 2, divide by 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 18 divided by 2 is 9. So the answer is 5/9. That's fully simplified. Nothing else you can really do to that particular problem. What if we have 3/4 times 6/8? Multiply tops, multiply the bottoms. 3 times 6 is 18. 4 times 8 is 32. So you should know your multiplication tables really well when you're doing this. And for this, we know that we can see that they're both even. So we can divide the top by 2 and the bottom by 2. 18 divided by 2, you should know from your multiplication tables, is 9. 32 divided by 2, you may or may not have that memorized, but you can do this division yourself, and when you do that, you'll see that that's equal to 16. So the answer that we get is 9/16. There's nothing I can divide top and bottom here to make this any simpler, so I'm done. And the final one we'll do here is 7/8 multiplied by 2/3. 7/8 multiplied by 2/3. So we multiply the tops, multiply the bottoms. So we get 7 times 2. I'll just go ahead and write it this one time. 8 times 3. Up here we have 7 times 2 is 14. 8 times 3 is 24. So that is the answer, but we see right away these are even numbers. We definitely can divide by 2. So we'll divide top by 2 and bottom by 2. 14 divided by 2 is 7. 24 divided by 2 is 12. And that is the final answer. There's nothing else I can do to this to change the top and the bottom to make them look any simpler than they already do. So I'm basically done. So if you notice, this set of problems, everything was done exactly the same as in the last set of problems. The only difference is that whenever we got down to the answer, we basically try to simplify it. We get down to the answer here, we're trying to simplify by dividing top and bottom by some common number to make the fraction as simple as it can be.